1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's up guys? Welcome to Mish Guitar. I'm Dan. Today I just wanted to show you a couple techniques that are really fun to play. They make you sound faster than probably you actually are. The first one is called string pedaling, and I picked it up from Tosin Abasi. He's not the first person to pedal a string. However, his technique and the way he applied it was very unique, sounded really cool, and I wanted to give it a try. So let's jump into it. The first pattern we're gonna play is everything's gonna be palm muted. We're gonna palm mute by placing the palm of our hand at the edge of the bridge. And just to note, this can be played on acoustic, electric, nylon string. It doesn't really matter what guitar you have. You wanna have something that doesn't have too high of an action because your left hand will be doing all hammer-ons. All the notes are hammered on with the left hand, and we'll be using the pick just to play the B string. Now there's other patterns where you can play different strings and do different things. This is just to introduce the technique, and you can explore different ways to use it. Again, check out Tosin Abasi, Animals as Leaders. The way he applies it sounds incredible. You also don't have to use a pick. You can do this technique with your fingers entirely. First, I'm going to show you the pedaling technique, and then I'm going to show you a tapping technique, which is a two-hand tapping technique. You play a progression with chords as you go up and down the neck. So let's start with the pedaling technique. We're going to start slow, like this. Now all I'm doing is I'm palm muting the open B string and doing up and down strokes. It doesn't matter what kind of strokes you do. They can be all down strokes, up strokes. They can be played with your fingers. It doesn't really matter. So we're gonna start by plucking once, and then we're hammering on. I'm using my second finger and my pinky because I get a little bit more leverage when I hammer on with those fingers. If you're more comfortable, you can use your index in your pinky or your index in your ring finger, whatever feels best for you. You're gonna hammer on to the 5th fret of the D string. I use my second finger, and then the 7th fret of the A string, I'm using my pinky for that. So we've got the B, then hammer on 5, hammer on 7. Before you try to play it fast, you've got to play it even. I recommend using a metronome to play these exercises evenly. Start very slow. And also, if you want to eliminate some of that noise that you're hearing over here, you can use something like this, which is a string muffler. Slide that over the strings. That way, you're not going to get any erroneous noises coming out from here. Unless you're using a condenser microphone or a microphone to record yourself, those extra noises might not matter. They're not typically going to get picked up by an electric guitar or even the pickup in an acoustic guitar. Exercises or techniques like this, it's very helpful to have a muffler like this. You can also just tie a sock around it or a rag. It doesn't really matter. Anything that will lightly sit across the strings to mute them is helpful for techniques like this. I like this because during a song, if I went into something like that, I can quickly slide it down, do the technique, slide it back off, play the other part. So it's handy to have these. Getting back into the technique, put that muffler back on there. Now to make it sound a little bit more interesting, we're going to move this pattern, this shape, down a fret, and then we're going to move it up 2 frets from the original position. So first we're going to move it down a fret. So we'll be on the 4th fret of the D string in the 6th fret of the A string. And again, we're going to hit that B string to pedal. Now that sounds kind of cool because now you're playing a B major triad. Whereas when you're playing this, you're implying an E minor chord. Then it goes to B major by moving that pattern back a half step. And then the 3rd position, we're going to move up to the 9th fret on the A string with our pinky and the 7th fret on the D string. Then return to the 1st position. Now play it all together, the progression should go something like this. Play that as slow as you need to get it even. Don't play beyond your ability or you're going to build bad habits into your playing. Here we go again, just real quick. you've got that part down with single strokes on the B, we're now going to move to double strokes on the B. We're going to keep the pattern in the left hand the same. But now instead of playing it every single note, we're going to play 2 notes or 2 strokes on the B string, still palm muting. Everything else stays the same. So we'll have something like this. So instead of 3s, now we've got a grouping of 4. It sounds a lot faster than I'm actually playing. So as soon as you add that extra note, it really starts accelerating. I'm alternate picking on the B string, but again, you could do singles. You can do downstrokes, upstroke. Use fingers. I kind of like my fingers on that one. But back to the pick. If you've got that down, we're now doing the groupings of 4. I'll play it slow just one more time. Now we're going to go to the final iteration of this technique, which is playing 3 notes on the B string. So now we're going to be sort of in a weird grouping of 5, which sounds really cool. And it takes a little getting used to the rhythm of it, but that's why we're going to start really slow. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, you can go to 4s. You can add as many single notes in between those hammer-ons as you want. For me, that's kind of the limit of where it starts falling apart. If I go beyond that, or it doesn't quite sound as musical as I'd like, it doesn't have as much punch if I add a 4th note there. Keep in mind, once you get the technique down here, you can apply it to any chord shape. You can play it on different strings. You can play it on a lower string. There's all sorts of things you can do with that pattern and technique once you understand it. You can pedal from any string and hammer on anywhere on the fretboard in a similar technique to add a lot of interest to your music and your solos and in your compositions. If you enjoyed this lesson, please hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and hit the like button. It really helps out my channel. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.